What's up, guys? I want to talk about these things really quick. So these are, I don't know if you've seen them online, these are these little Bluetooth OBD2 readers that you can plug into pretty much like any car with an OBD2 port, and it'll tell you all kinds of information. You can connect to apps and do certain things, probably clear some codes and stuff like that. But I forgot that I had these, and I was at a track day recently, and these things would have been really handy to have because some of the apps that I have can use this information that these give. And so I wanted to talk about them. They're really cool. They're not that expensive. And if you're a car enthusiast, this might be something that you want to look into, or maybe you've seen before and didn't know what they are. So let's talk about them for just a minute. I've got 3 types of them here, all made by the same company, VeePeak, whatever that is, and some of the differences between them, the similarities, and kind of what you can expect from something like this. So let's just jump right to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the similarities and get them out of the way, because surprisingly, they're pretty much all exactly the same. Now, there are 3 of them here, and they all cost a little bit different, but they basically, functionally, they perform the same task. So what's the difference? Why would you buy one over the other? First, this I think is the cheapest one. This one uses, I think it's Bluetooth, but it's Android only. So if you buy this one, I think it's around $20 or something. This does not work with iOS devices. So if you have an iPhone, like a lot of people do, you can't use this one for any of the native apps on iOS. This one, however, is a Wi-Fi adapter. So it uses Wi-Fi to transmit the data. So this does work with Android and iPhone. So iOS and Android. So if you have both of those, or if you have an iPhone, maybe this is the one that you want. It's a little bit more expensive. I don't recall the prices. I'll put links down below in the description for all 3 of these, so you can check them out and kind of do your own research yourself. But that's pretty much the difference between that one. And then this last one is a Bluetooth BLE, which if you're unfamiliar with that, it's basically Bluetooth low energy. I don't know why it makes a huge difference. I think it's probably because you leave these in your car. If you leave it in there, it doesn't consume as much electricity, I guess. I don't know. But this one works with my iOS device as well. This one's the one that I use the most. So for the rest of this video, I'm gonna talk about this one. Because besides the difference in which ones they're compatible with, they're pretty much the same. So let's talk about OBD2 for just a second really quick. I believe it's after 1996. Every car that's manufactured has to have an OBD2 port. And what that means is that there's a certain number of standardized protocols that every car has to be able to transmit. What that means is that one of these devices is going to be able to read a certain amount of information. It's not everything, but there's a standard list you can look up. It's a really long list that has a bunch of different protocols of the information that every car must put out. These devices can read. So any car that has an OBD2 port, you can plug this in and get all of the same information. Now, it's not everything. Some manufacturers hide certain protocols for certain sensors and things like that, but for basic things like I think it's like, your typical speedometer, engine RPMs, I think there may be like oil pressure and things like that. A lot of those are in that standardized list. These things can read it. And why that's important is because if you are somebody like me who takes your car to a track, there are apps that you can use and connect these with that log your data for you. So for example, I use Track Addicts Pro whenever I take my car to a track. It helps log the lap times with the built-in GPS. However, if you use one of these Bluetooth OBD2 adapters, you can also log the data coming from the car's ECU along with all the telemetry in the app. So as you do laps around the track, it's logging things like oil temperature, pressure, and all those standardized lists of things, which is really cool. And there's almost nothing involved in getting them to work in the first place. You plug it in, connect it to your phone, and that's it. So I'm gonna show you guys really quick how easy that is with this one specifically. This is a 2002 Chevrolet Corvette, so obviously it's an OBD2 car. This is the BLE model because I have an iPhone. And like I said, I'm gonna be using Track Addicts Pro app, which is a fantastic app if you ever take your car to track days or autocross or HPD, anything like that. I think it's like $10 or something. It's you have to pay for it, but it's totally worth it if you do it, especially just to have your lap times. You've always got to brag about lap times. Cool, so I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in, show you guys where the OBD2 port is on a C5 Corvette, and then I'll show you what it looks like in the app and some of the data that it's collecting. All right, let's do it. So in a C5 Corvette, the OBD2 port is right underneath the steering column on the driver's side. You'll need to check your car's manual. Sometimes they're on the passenger side, sometimes they're on the driver's side. Every car is different, so you're just gonna have to go out and check your own car. Mine in the C5 is right up here. It's gonna be really hard to see without anything plugged in. It's actually this guy right here. I'm gonna go ahead and plug in the device and show you guys, and hopefully it'll make it stand out a little bit more. Cool, so I plugged it in and you can actually see it. It's right there, it's that blue little glowing light there. It just plugs right into the OBD2 port and it just stays in there. It stays on with the car. You don't have to take it out. You can take it out, it doesn't hurt. There's no on or off switch. It's just as you plug it in, the OBD2 port is constantly powered, so it always has power to it. I'm just going to turn on the accessories. So now that the accessories are on, we are going to go to our settings again. Come down here to input sensors, select data channels, and now you can see that everything is lit up. There is a ton of stuff here to pick from. There is calculated load, engine coolant temp, fuel trim, intake manifold pressure, engine RPM, vehicle speed, all kinds of stuff that you can set. So these are all of the different sensors that you can use and log inside these apps using that device down there. So now if I'm out on track or something, it will record any of these sensors that I set to it to my lap time, which to me is really cool, and it's really helpful if you want to make sure that you're tracking everything is looking as it's supposed to, or if you're just, street tuning it, you want to make sure that, everything is looking all right, or, I don't know, sometimes it's just fun just to see your engine speed and vehicle speed and all the other sensors going off on your car. So, yeah, like I said, and after you're done using it, you can leave it in the car. It really doesn't pull enough electricity to, kill the battery or anything like that. A lot of times I just leave it in the car. I took it out for whatever reason, and I forgot to put it back in before my last track day, and I really wish I had it because it would have been cool to have all that information stored with my lap time. So as you go throughout the track, to see RPM to make sure that you're shifting at the right points or not over revving the car, all that kind of fun stuff is just to go back and look at all that extra data that you would have had if you had one of these. Like I said, this is the one that I recommend, is this BLE version. It's like $5 or $10 more than the Wi-Fi and the other Bluetooth version, but to me, since it works on all devices, iOS and Android, this is kind of the one that hits that sweet spot for me. Yeah, so if you found this helpful, if you're looking at these things or whatever, definitely like the video. If you're new to the channel, definitely consider subscribing, and if you have any questions about this stuff, leave them in the comments below and I'll try to get back to you